In this video, we'll show you how to join your work using backstitch. We're using Hayfield Bonus DK and you'll use the yarn in your pattern. You're also going to need a darning needle, a piece of sewing thread and a pair of scissors. To start off, I'm going to take a length of yarn and snip. And I've got my two pieces which I'm going to join together. I'm going to place my right sides together and I'm going to be joining my pink section and working in blue so it's really easy for you to see. To thread my needle, I'm going to use a piece of my sewing thread, folded in half, as this is easier to get through the eye of your darning needle. So through your darning needle, and then this loop you can put your yarn through and then pull the ends of your thread to thread up. I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to tie a small knot in the end. And now I'm ready to start using my backstitch. We want to hold our pieces of work together, and when sewing with backstitch, you want to work, if sewing along your cast off edge, one stitch in, and if you're sewing along your edge, the same, you want to sew one stitch in. I'm going to join in my yarn, so I'm going to first join by going through one of my stitches, just through the stitch lightly, and securing my yarn by pulling through to where my knot is, and then taking my needle and splitting the yarn, sewing through just before my knot and pulling, and this makes our yarn nice and secure so we're ready to sew our backstitch. To start our work, we're going to go onto the other side, so we're starting from the front, we're going back on ourselves to the edge of our knitting piece, from the front to the back, and we're going to pull through. We're now going to come up from the back through to the front, leaving a small gap, pulling through, and we're ready to really start our line. From here we're going to take our needle and go where we joined, through the same space, and then we're going to want to work the same distance as we've gone backwards this side of our stitch. So we're going through to the back. This is our central point, and we're going to go the same distance and then come out of the front. We're now going to work back on ourselves and go through the same stitch, coming through to the back. This becomes our central point, working the same distance the other direction, pulling through, and working back on ourselves. So we're coming through to the back, our central point, and working through to the other side, and pulling through. Backstitch makes a nice firm line, and along the front you have a solid line, and when you can see from the back, the line feels thicker because it's crossed over. I'm going to do 2 more stitches. Across my work, pulling nice and secure until I get to my central point on my piece. And now I'm going to show you how to fasten off. So I'm going to do the last half of my stitch there, so I'm going to work into the same space I came out of, pull through, and then I'm going to come and pull through to the front one more time. So I'm now ready to fasten off. To fasten off my sewing, I'm going to come under my last loop in my back stitch and pull through till I get a nice loop, and in this loop I'm going to come with my needle and come through that loop once, then through that loop twice, and through that loop 3 times, and then I'm going to hold tightly here and pull. to ruche down my knot, and then to help secure, I'm going to sew through one more part of my back stitch, through my knot, and pull it nice and secure. I'm now ready to snip. I can snip my end short, and now we can open it up and see our work joined with backstitch. And that's how you join your work using backstitch. Practice until you're confident, and then head to surdal.com for more stitches, beginner kits, patterns and yarn.